Hello, my name is Sibylle Brehm. Welcome back to the OpenSAP course, SAP Fiori Overview, Design, Develop and Deploy. In the last unit, you found out how to activate your SAP Fiori solution out of the box and how to adjust the delivered Launchpad content with the Fiori Launchpad Content Manager. In this third unit of week 4, Configuring SAP Fiori Launchpad, you will learn how to refine the SAP Fiori Launchpad user experience even further. If you need to add custom content or want to create your own custom roles from scratch, you will need to understand Launchpad content assignment in more depth. In Unit 1, you learned of the different entities used in content assignment. Now let's look at how you gather those entities to maximize reuse and flexibility and minimize efforts as you scale your solution to more business roles and more users. Often the same app may be used by multiple users in multiple roles, such as apps that display a vendor or show budget utilization. Often even whole sets of related apps may need to be assigned to multiple roles, such as apps that support a process or task come to multiple roles. So it makes sense to combine such apps into a catalog to reuse tile and target mapping definitions. To make reuse easier, we differentiate between two types of catalogs: technical catalogs and business catalogs. This is a logical difference, not a physical one. Technical catalogs are used as containers for the original tiles and target mappings. They hold the main technical details and parameters for all your tiles and target mappings, regardless of role usage. Business catalogs gather references to the tiles and target mappings in the technical catalogs, collecting them up into sets that relate to a particular process or task. Business catalogs are then assigned to the related business role. In this way, the same app can be reused by multiple roles. If you want to change such an app, you only need to change it once in the technical catalog. There are two scopes in which you can adapt catalogs: the system-wide client-independent configuration conf scope and the client-dependent customizing cust scope. These two scopes provide ways to maximize flexibility. For example, in your quality assurance environment, you might have one client for user acceptance testing and another client for training. You can reuse your original tiles and target mappings in all clients by creating your custom technical catalogs in the conf scope. Maximize flexibility by creating your custom business catalogs in the cust scope. This gives you the option to gather different combinations of tiles and target mappings to support different use cases needed for different clients. To minimize effort when creating custom business catalogs, you can copy SAP business catalogs as a starting point. To make them easy to identify, SAP technical catalogs use a naming convention of SAP_TC and SAP business catalogs use a naming convention of SAP_BC. To assign the business catalogs to a user, you would assign the catalog to a role and then assign the role to the user, as you already saw in Unit 1 of this week. In the last unit, you learned of the most important tool for adjusting the fit of SAP Fiori Launchpad content to business users, which is the SAP Fiori Launchpad Content Manager. This is the best tool for quickly creating and changing business catalogs, searching across all available Launchpad content, and reviewing which content is assigned to a particular business role. As you learn how to refine your overall SAP Fiori Launchpad experience, there are a few more tools worth knowing for more detailed refinements. The Launchpad Designer for maintaining technical catalogs for SAP UI5 and URL apps and for managing groups, and the App Descriptor Mass Maintenance tool for catalogs with classic UIs. Both of them are tools you can use to add custom content into technical catalogs. Let's briefly look at these tools. The App Descriptor Mass Maintenance tool is aimed at creating content based on classic user interfaces. For example, you might want to include custom classic user interfaces that you have inherited from your SAP Business Suite system during a system conversion to SAP S/4HANA. In hub mode architecture, the App Descriptor Mass Maintenance tool is part of the backend server. Let's have a look at the demo. In the first step, you select or create a catalog that will hold the classic apps that you want to add to your Fiori Launchpad. If all apps use the same semantic object, you could already enter it here. Let's create a new catalog now. In the next step, you want to add some classic apps, for example, transactions. Let us add some purchasing transactions. We select 2 apps from the list of available transactions. Now edit the first transaction. As you can see, the title and the keywords fields are already populated with values that were available as part of the original transaction. Note the Reuse Text checkbox. You can remove the checkmark and enter your own title, subtitle, and so on, but in this case, you need to take care to translate all these texts. If you keep the pre-configured values, all translations are already available. You now need to define the navigation by specifying a semantic object and action. Select an existing semantic object. It could be one shipped by SAP or a custom semantic object created in customizing. Select an existing action. And then let's go to the second app and do the same settings again. Select a semantic object, for example, a purchase requisition. And a semantic action. When you're finished with the configuration, save the catalog. Now that the catalog is created, you use a replication tool to draw the information from the mass maintenance tool into the Fiori technical catalogs on the front end. Before that, you assign the system alias of the front-end server to the catalog. This is done with transaction SM30. Search for the table to maintain the mapping of the customer catalog to a system alias. In this table, you create a new entry which maps your catalog to the system alias Fiori, which points to the embedded front-end server. Now that the mapping is done, you can go to transaction SE38 to launch the replication tool for newly created technical catalogs. Let's search for it. And execute it. Select the system alias Fiori again, then enter your technical catalog ID. Execute the program in test mode, and since everything works fine, you can now remove the test mode flag and launch it again. The program finished successfully. You will see the resulting catalog in the Fiori Launchpad Designer in the next demo. The Launchpad Designer is a web browser tool for creating technical catalog content, such as tiles and target mappings for your own custom-built SAP Fiori apps and for URLs to cloud solutions. In a hub mode architecture, the Launchpad Designer is part of your Fiori front-end server. It has 2 tabs, one for managing catalogs and one for groups. Let us take a look at our custom technical catalogs, starting with T_TC. Here we also find the catalog that we just created using the mass maintenance tool, with 2 tiles and 2 target mappings that were generated from our entries. Note that this catalog is read-only, as it was not created here, but only replicated. Let us take a look at another local custom technical catalog. As you can see, it only contains SAP UI5 apps. We recommend that you do not mix classic apps and SAP UI5 apps in technical catalogs. For UI5 catalogs, you can use the Launchpad Designer to refine the look of tiles and links. Just click a tile to edit it. You could change the icon or enter a keyword to make apps easier to find in Fiori search. You can also refine the target mappings for app-to-app navigations. Select one and click Configure. For example, you can control which target mapping is relevant to which device, and you can adjust the parameters passed in target mappings. Once you have configured the tiles and target mappings, you can use the Content Manager tool that you saw in the last unit to add references to these apps to business catalogs that fit your business roles and business processes. The content on each user's homepage is controlled by groups. You can create and adapt these groups in the Fiori Launchpad Designer as well. Let's create a new group, give it a name and an ID, and then select the app that should be shown in the group as tiles. Just click the plus icon. We'll search for analytical apps from the Purchasing Analytics catalog. Select it and then select the apps you want to add. This and this and this. And then we go back and add some more apps to be displayed as links. We will take them from another catalog. Let's take the supplier invoice processing catalog and choose this app and this and this. Now we are done. We created a new group that contains 3 tiles and 3 links and could now assign it to a business role to show up in Fiori Launchpad. After you've configured and assigned your Launchpad content, you will find individual users can end up with a lot of content, particularly if they are involved in a number of business processes, have broad responsibilities, or perform more than one business role. This is normal. For example, in a smaller regional office, users are likely to take on several roles at once. When your business users first log into your brand new solution, they need to get straight into their work. Being able to find the tiles or links that they will use most is essential. That's why a homepage flooded with every app and tile you can possibly use is not good user experience. It's like giving someone an overcrowded tool shed or an overloaded dining table. It may be impressive, but it's not very useful and wastes a lot of time in searching for the right app. This is a really overcrowded homepage. There are far too many apps on the homepage, and there are some groups with lots of tiles. And also too many groups to easily identify the one that you need. Instead, you want your homepage to be a focused workspace containing the most important entry tiles and links, the tiles and links that this user uses every day to start their day-to-day tasks. This could be a much more focused homepage for a purchaser. There's a reasonable number of groups, tiles and links. But how does the user find all the other apps? He could, for example, navigate from app to app. From a contact number in the Manage Purchase contracts, he can directly launch an app to change or print the contract. He could also use the search, which does not only give him access to contract apps, but also to business objects related to contracts. As another option, he can use the Home button, where he can find all the apps he is allowed to use sorted into catalogs. And finally, if he wants to add one of the apps to his homepage, he can go to the App Finder, find it in a catalog or via the search, and pin it to his homepage. There are some simple guidelines you can follow to ensure a good user experience on the homepage. You want to keep the homepage slim and make sure everything on it is easy to understand and well organized. Taking a business-centric approach is essential. You want the homepage to fit with the way your users think. If users don't understand the text of a group, tile or link, they might not find it easily or not at all. Because SAP Fiori User Experience brings an interconnected network of app-to-app navigations that support insight-to-action task flows, you can focus the homepage on the most important entry points only, the insights. Because once your user have their insights, they will navigate to the actions. Beyond the Launchpad content, there are many central features that lift your SAP Fiori user experience from good to great, such as Fiori Search, notifications, user assistant, special app finder features such as the easy access menu, and many more. Launchpad configuration parameters are used to enable and control these features and to tailor the general behavior of the Launchpad, such as opening classic apps in place rather than in a new tab. These Launchpad features can be enabled globally in SAP Fiori customizing. This is usually the best approach, but in special cases, they can also be controlled at a role level using business catalog assignments. For example, if you only want to give the easy access menu to expert roles with prior knowledge of using these in SAP Business Suite. You can find the available configuration parameters in the SAP Fiori Launchpad guide for your version, including additional details on configuring features such as Fiori Search and notifications. The guide also explains extension options, such as using a Launchpad plugin to show if you are in your production, test, or development system, or adding custom options to the shell bar at the top of the homepage. Lastly, you can optionally theme your SAP Fiori Launchpad using the web browser tool UI Theme Designer to apply your corporate color scheme. You saw this tool already in week 2. SAP provides a range of themes out of the box that you can use as is, customize heavily, or just adjust to add your corporate logo. These include high contrast themes for difficult lighting conditions or visually impaired users. The default themes that are available in your system depend on the version you are running. The Quartz themes you see in this slide are part of the current SAP Fiori 3 version, but if you are running on an older SAP UI5 release, you might also have the SAP Belize themes instead, for example. Keep in mind that however you have set up the Fiori Launchpad as an administrator, users can personalize the content further. Using Edit Homepage, they can hide and show groups, add new tiles or links from the app finder, rearrange or even rename tiles and links. They can use the Save as Tile option to save apps with preset variants as tiles on the homepage. And they can control certain Launchpad behaviors, such as seeing all tiles on a long scrollable page or showing one group at a time. To summarize, in this unit, you got to know 2 more tools for managing Launchpad content. You learned leading practices for organizing the homepage and learned about options for controlling central Launchpad features and behaviors. In the next unit, we will look at how you support SAP Fiori in a live production system. Thank you and goodbye.